James is a fraud. LeBron James, once again, proves that he's a pat-standing clown and should never again, ever be mentioned in the same breath as the greats who have ever played this great game of the week. Funny how his ankle wasn't good enough for him to play the night before against the San Antonio Spurs, but in a night when you have no Cooper Flag and the Mavericks are a bad basketball team with half their roster out, LeBron James not only plays, and obviously played very well last night.
Craig Carton just delivered what might be the most scathing takedown of LeBron James we've seen all season. This is a full-scale assault on the King's legacy, his decision-making, and what Carton is calling the most blatant example of stat padding in recent NBA history. The Los Angeles Lakers just beat the Dallas Mavericks. Should be a feel-good story, right? LeBron James, at 41 years old, becomes the oldest player in NBA history to record a triple-double. Historic, legendary. The kind of achievement that should have everyone celebrating the longevity and excellence of one of basketball's greatest players. But Craig Carton isn't celebrating. He's furious, and he's got receipts.
You can choose not to see it. You can choose to change the narrative of it.
What narrative?
That was
another
abuse of stat padding by your self-appointed GOAT. All good.
Here's what Carton noticed that has him absolutely fired up. LeBron James mysteriously couldn't play the night before against the San Antonio Spurs. Bad ankle, needed rest. The usual injury management for a veteran player, right? Nothing suspicious there. Except here's where it gets interesting. The very next night against a depleted Dallas Mavericks team missing key players, LeBron is suddenly healthy enough not just to play, but to stay on the court deep into garbage time chasing a triple-double.
Why does a guy at 41 years old who couldn't play against the San Antonio Spurs because allegedly he had a bad ankle and couldn't go? We know what he's really doing, folks. He's waiting to play against lesser opponents so he can stat pad because that's what he does.
The accusation is clear. LeBron James is picking and choosing his opponents. He's sitting out against teams that might give him trouble and suiting up against undermanned squads where he can pad his stats and chase history. And if that's true, that's a massive problem for the Lakers and for LeBron's legacy. The Lakers are up by 16 with just over 3 minutes left in the game. The contest is over. The Mavericks are done. This is the point where you pull your starters, especially your 41-year-old superstar who supposedly has an ankle injury, and let the bench finish it out. But LeBron stays in. Why? He's sitting on 9 rebounds, 1 away from the triple-double, 1 board away from making history as the oldest player ever to record 10 points, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds in a single game. Then Austin Reaves grabs a rebound, and according to Carton, chaos ensues. Teammates start yelling at Austin Reaves. Redick calls a timeout, and here's where it becomes impossible to ignore what's happening. That timeout wasn't to rest players. It wasn't to run a specific play. According to Carton's breakdown, that timeout was called specifically to tell Austin Reaves to stop rebounding so LeBron could get his triple-double. Think about that for a second. The head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers called a timeout in a blowout game to preserve a stat-chasing opportunity for his star player.
It's not about his well-being. It's not about protecting him for a playoff run. It's about stat padding. We got to make sure LeBron gets 1 more rebound so that he gets a triple-double, and then we'll take him out of the game.
And that's exactly what happened. LeBron gets the rebound, the triple-double is secured, then he comes out of the game. Mission accomplished. Now, some of you might be thinking, who cares? It's 1 rebound. It's a historic achievement. Let the man have his moment. But here's why this is bigger than just 1 stat line. The Los Angeles Lakers are supposed to be competing for a playoff spot. They're in a competitive Western Conference where every game matters, where every possession counts, where managing your veterans' health could be the difference between a first-round exit and a deep playoff run. LeBron James has been managing his minutes all season. Load management, sitting out back-to-backs, taking games off for rest and recovery. The Lakers organization has prioritized keeping him fresh for when it matters most. But suddenly, when there's a personal record on the line against a bad team, the ankle is fine, the rest of the day doesn't matter, he's staying in during garbage time to chase stats. That sends a message, and it's not a good one. It tells the rest of the roster that individual achievements matter more than team success. It tells the coaching staff that game strategy can be compromised for legacy-building moments. It tells the front office that the superstar they're building around might be more focused on the record books than the championship parade. And look, LeBron James has earned the right to chase records. He's one of the greatest players in NBA history. His longevity is unprecedented. At 41 years old, he's still performing at an elite level. That deserves respect. But there's a line between celebrating greatness and enabling selfishness, and what happened against Dallas might have crossed it. Of course, not everyone agrees with Carton's take. His co-host Tyrone Johnson immediately pushed back, defending LeBron's decision to play. The counter-argument goes like this. LeBron didn't sit out against the Spurs to avoid competition. He sat out because it was the second night of a back-to-back after playing the Oklahoma City Thunder, who actually have a better record than San Antonio. So if LeBron was really ducking competition, why would he play against the tougher opponent and sit against the weaker one?
Oh, look at LeBron James, oldest guy to have a triple-double. Funny how his ankle wasn't good enough for him to play the night before against the San Antonio Spurs, but in a night when you have no Cooper Flag and the Mavericks are a bad basketball team with half their roster out, LeBron James not only plays, and obviously played very well last night.
That's actually a fair point. The Thunder are the #1 seed in the Western Conference. They're a legitimate championship contender. The Spurs are rebuilding. If LeBron was strategically choosing opponents to stat pad against, the logic doesn't quite add up. As for staying in during garbage time, the three-point era has changed the definition of garbage time. A 16-point lead with 3 minutes left isn't as safe as it used to be. Teams can go on quick runs. The game wasn't technically over. And maybe, just maybe, a 41-year-old player achieving something that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Michael Jordan never did is worth celebrating, even if the circumstances aren't perfect. But here's what this debate is really about. It's not just about one game, or one triple-double, or one timeout. It's about LeBron James and his relationship with individual statistics. It's about a player who has spent his entire career being compared to Michael Jordan and constantly falling short in the public's perception. It's about someone who knows that the numbers will be part of his legacy long after the subjective debates fade away. LeBron James is the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. He's going to retire with statistical achievements that will stand for decades, and part of his strategy has always been to accumulate those numbers, to build that resume, to make his case for GOAT status undeniable on paper. Is that wrong? Not necessarily. But when it starts to conflict with winning, when it starts to look like personal glory matters more than team success, that's when fans and analysts start to question the priorities. The Lakers are currently fighting for playoff positioning. They're not championship favorites. They're a team that needs every advantage they can get. And if their best player is more focused on triple-doubles than victories, that's a problem.
There is no plausible reason why LeBron James, who allegedly has a bad ankle, is in a basketball game against a bad team up by 16 with 3 minutes to go.
And honestly, that's the question that LeBron defenders need to answer. If the ankle was bad enough to sit out against San Antonio, why was it fine for garbage time against Dallas? What changed in 24 hours that made extended playing time suddenly acceptable? Look, LeBron James is going to the Hall of Fame. He's going to have his jersey retired. He's going to be remembered as one of the greatest basketball players who ever lived. Nothing that happened in this one game changes that. But this moment matters because it reveals something about priorities. It shows what happens when individual achievement becomes more important than team success. It demonstrates how even the greatest players can get caught up in chasing records at the expense of the bigger picture. The The Lakers need LeBron James to be focused on winning. They need him healthy for the playoffs. They need him setting an example for the younger players on the roster about what matters most. Staying in during garbage time to chase a triple-double? That's not leadership. That's ego. And if the Lakers want to compete for a championship, they can't afford to have their best player more concerned with the record books than the Larry O'Brien trophy. Craig Carton went off on LeBron James, and you know what? He might have a point, because when you're 41 years old, when you're managing injuries, when you're supposed to be focused on winning, there's no excuse for stat padding in a blowout game. The King wanted his triple-double. He got it, but at what cost? That's the question Lakers fans need to be asking themselves right now, because if LeBron James is more interested in making history than making the playoffs, this season could end in disappointment, and no amount of individual records will make that hurt any less.